The morning alarm on New Sol Colony sounded different that day. Commander Taman Park knew the sound well. It was not the regular wake-up call. It was the emergency signal that made his blood run cold. Taman jumped from his bed and ran to the command center. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floor as he rushed through the hallways. Other people were running too. Everyone looked scared and confused. "What is happening?" Taman asked when he reached the main control room. Sora Kim, the chief communications officer, turned to face him. Her face was pale and her hands were shaking a little. "Commander, we have a big problem." The long-range sensors picked up something terrible. She pointed at the big screen on the wall. Taman looked at the screen and saw many red dots moving toward their solar system. There were so many dots that they looked like a red cloud. "How many ships?" Taman asked. 200, sir. Maybe more. They are still too far away to count exactly." Sora's voice was quiet and worried. Taman felt his heart beating faster. New Sol was a peaceful mining colony. They had only one old battleship to protect them. The ship was called UES Indomitable, and it was over 30 years old. How could one old ship fight against 200 enemy ships? "Do we know who they are?" Taman asked. Hyun-Woo Lee, the senior engineer, looked up from his computer. "The ship designs match the Vorthak hegemony, sir. We have seen these ships before in our database." Taman knew about the Vorthak. They were a powerful alien race that conquered other planets. They had destroyed many civilizations. They took prisoners and made them work as slaves. No one had ever successfully fought against them and won. "How long do we have?" Taman asked. "They will reach our system in about 2 days, sir," Sora said. 2 days. Taman closed his eyes and thought hard. 2 days to prepare for a battle they could not win. 2 days to save 50,000 people who lived on New Sol. "Send a message to all the outer colonies," Taman ordered. "Tell them what is coming." "Maybe someone can help us." Sora started typing on her keyboard. "What should we tell our people, sir?" Taman looked around the room. Everyone was watching him and waiting for his answer. These people trusted him to keep them safe. But how could he protect them from such a large enemy fleet? "Tell everyone to pack their most important things," Taman said. "We will start moving people to the evacuation ships." "Sir," Mi-young Choi spoke up. She was the leader of the starfighter squadron. "My pilots want to fight." "We will not run away." Taemin looked at Mi-young. She was young but very brave. Her fighter pilots were good, but they only had 12 small ships. 12 fighters against 200 warships would be like throwing stones at a mountain. "Mi-young, this is not a battle we can win," Taemin said gently. "Maybe not, sir, but this is our home. We will not let the Vorthak take it without a fight." Other people in the room started nodding. Hyun-Woo stood up. "Commander, I have been working on some new defense systems. They are not finished, but maybe we can make them work." "What kind of defense systems?" Taemin asked. "I have been using the mining equipment to build large railguns. They are hidden inside the asteroid belt around our planet. The Vorthak will not see them until it is too late." Taemin felt a small hope growing in his chest. "How many railguns?" 20, sir. Each one can shoot projectiles at very high speed. They might be able to damage the enemy ships." Sora finished sending the emergency messages. "Sir, I am getting responses from the other colonies. Most of them are too far away to help, but—" She paused and looked at her screen again. "But what?" Taemin asked. "There is one message that is different. It came from Deep Space Patrol Route 7. The message just says message received." "Help is coming," Taemin frowned. "Which ship sent that message?" Sora checked her computer. The identification code says it is from UES Retribution. Everyone in the room became very quiet. Taemin felt his heart jump. US Retribution was not just any ship. It was the most famous human battleship in the galaxy. People told stories about that ship and its crew. They said the ship had never lost a battle. They said its captain, Jin Ho-nam, was a military genius. "Are you sure?" Taemin asked. "Yes, sir. The message came from UES Retribution." Mi-young smiled for the first time that day. "If the Retribution is coming, maybe we have a chance," but Taemin knew the numbers. Even the famous Retribution was just one ship. How could one ship fight against 200? Still, if the stories were true, maybe there was hope. "How long until the Retribution gets here?" Taemin asked. Sora calculated the numbers. "If they travel at maximum speed, they will arrive about 6 hours after the Vorthak fleet. 6 hours too late. The battle would already be over by then. Unless... We need to slow down the Vorthak fleet," Taemin said. "Hyun-Woo, can your railguns reach them before they get close to the planet?" "Yes, sir." If we position them correctly, we can start shooting when they are still far away. Good. Mi-young, I want your fighters ready for hit-and-run attacks. Do not try to fight them directly. Just slow them down and make them angry. Understood, sir. Sora, send another message to all our people. Tell them we are going to fight. Tell them that UES Retribution is coming to help us. Tell them to be ready. The next 2 days passed very quickly. The people of New Seoul worked together to prepare for battle. The miners helped Hyunwoo move his railguns into position. The farmers brought food and water to the military base. Even the children helped by carrying messages and supplies. Taemin stood on the bridge of UES Indomitable and watched the enemy fleet getting closer. The old ship was ready for battle. Its weapons were loaded and its shields were charged. But Taemin knew it would not be enough. Sir, Sora called out, the Vorthak fleet is dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of our system. Taemin looked at the main screen. The enemy ships appeared one by one like evil stars. They were huge and dark. Their weapons glowed with dangerous energy. Sir, Sora said again. Her voice was excited now. I am detecting another ship dropping out of hyperspace. Where? Behind the Vorthak fleet, sir. It is... Sora paused and smiled. It is UES Retribution. Taemin felt hope fill his heart. The most famous ship in the human fleet had arrived. Now they had a chance. Maybe a small chance, but still a chance. The battle for New Seoul was about to begin. Captain Jin-ho Nam stood on the bridge of UES Retribution and read the emergency message for the 3rd time. New Seoul colony was asking for help. A large Vorthak fleet was coming to attack them. The colony only had one old battleship to defend 50,000 people. How far are we from New Seoul? Jin-ho asked. 48 hours at maximum speed, sir, replied his navigation officer. Admiral Soo-jin Yoon walked up to Jin-ho. She was his old friend and teacher. They had fought many battles together over the years. That is a suicide mission, Jin-ho, Soo-jin said quietly. 200 Vorthak ships against one colony and our ship? Even for us, those are terrible odds. Jin-ho looked at the message again. He could imagine the fear of the people on New Seoul. They were miners and farmers, not soldiers. They needed help. What do you think, Soo-jin? Jin-ho asked. I think we should go, Soo-jin said. It is what we do, Jin-ho smiled. Soo-jin always knew what he was thinking. All hands, this is the captain, Jin-ho said into the ship's communication system. We have received a call for help from New Seoul Colony. A large enemy fleet is attacking peaceful civilians. I am asking for volunteers only. This will be a very dangerous mission. The bridge became quiet. Then Woo Sung-kang, the Master Chief, stepped forward. Captain, my Marines volunteer. All of them. Da Hai-song, the Chief Weapons Officer, nodded. My weapons teams volunteer too, sir. One by one, every officer on the bridge volunteered. Soon, reports came in from all over the ship. Every single crew member wanted to go and help New Seoul. It looks like we are all going, Jin-ho said. Change course for New Seoul. Maximum speed. As the Retribution jumped into hyperspace, Jin-ho remembered other battles they had fought. 3 years ago, they had saved a transport ship full of alien refugees from Vorthak attackers. The aliens had been so surprised that humans would risk their lives for strangers. Captain, Soo-jin said, I have been reading intelligence reports about the Vorthak. Did you know they are afraid of human ships? Afraid why? Soo-jin showed him a data pad. Our intelligence people have been listening to alien communications. The Vorthak call human warships death ships. They tell stories about us to scare their children. Jin-ho read the report. It was amazing. The report said that alien races across the galaxy had started to fear human military ships. They said humans never retreated from battle. They said human crews would rather die than surrender. They said human ships could do impossible things. Listen to this, Soo-jin said. She played an audio recording. It was a conversation between 2 Vorthak officers. Have you heard about the human ship that attacked our base at Kepler 16? One voice said. Yes, one ship against an entire base. The humans are crazy. They rescued 2,000 prisoners and destroyed our ships. Then they just disappeared into space like ghosts. I heard their ships can repair themselves during battle. I heard their crews never sleep and never stop fighting. Jin-ho turned off the recording. Do they really believe these things? Some of it is true, Soo-jin said. We do fight harder than other species. We do not give up easily, and our engineers are very good at fixing things quickly. But some of these stories are not true. Does that matter? If the enemy is afraid of us before the battle starts, we have already won half the fight. Wusung came to the bridge to report. Captain, my Marines are ready. We have studied the Vorthak ship designs. If we can get close enough, we can board their ships and take them. How do you plan to get close enough? Jinho asked. The same way we always do, sir. We use their fear against them. Jinho knew what Wusung meant. In their last battle against the Vorthak, the Retribution had done something impossible. They had flown straight toward the enemy fleet instead of running away. The enemy had been so surprised that they forgot to shoot properly. It gave the Retribution time to get close and attack. Da-hai, Jinho called to his weapons officer. Are our guns ready? Yes, sir. All weapons are loaded and ready. I have also prepared some surprises for the Vorthak. What kind of surprises? I have been studying their ship designs. I know where their weak points are. I can hit them where it hurts the most, Jinho nodded. Dahi was the best gunner in the human fleet. Other ships called her the Reaper, because she never missed her targets. The ship's communications officer received a message. Captain, we are getting a transmission from the alien refugee ship Peaceful Dawn. They want to thank us again for saving them. Put them on screen, Jinho said. A strange alien face appeared on the main screen. It had 4 eyes and blue skin. Captain Nam, this is Ambassador Veltar. We heard about your mission to New Sol. We want you to know that our people are praying for your success. Thank you, Ambassador, Jinho said. Captain, you should know something. We have been telling other alien races about what humans did for us. Many species now know that humans will fight to protect others, even strangers. This makes you very dangerous to evil races like the Vorthak. How does that make us dangerous? Because most species in the galaxy only fight to protect themselves. But humans fight to protect everyone. This means humans will never stop fighting as long as innocent people are in danger. The Vorthak understand this now. They are afraid because they know humans will hunt them across the galaxy if they hurt peaceful people. The transmission ended. Jinho thought about what the ambassador had said. Maybe that was why the Vorthak feared human ships so much. They knew that humans would never stop coming after them. Captain, Sujin said, we are 6 hours away from New Sol. I am reading reports that the Vorthak fleet has already arrived at the system. Are they attacking? Not yet. It looks like they are demanding surrender first. Jinho felt angry. The Vorthak always did this. They would give civilians a chance to surrender, then make them slaves. It was evil and wrong. Send a message to New Sol, Jinho ordered. Tell them help is coming. Tell them to hold on. What should we do when we arrive? Da-hai asked. We do what we always do, Jinho said. We protect innocent people. No matter what it costs, Sujin looked at the star charts. Jinho, I have been thinking about our approach. The Vorthak will not expect us to attack them from behind. They will detect us when we drop out of hyperspace. Yes, but by then it will be too late for them to change their formation. We can surprise them. Wusung smiled. I like surprise attacks. We all do, Jinho said. That is why we are going to win this battle. The crew of the Retribution spent the next few hours preparing for battle. They checked their weapons and equipment. They studied the battle plans. They talked to their families through recorded messages, just in case this was their last mission. But Jinho was not worried. He had fought the Vorthak before. He knew they were strong, but they were also predictable. They relied on their numbers and big ships. They did not expect enemies to be clever and brave. Captain, the navigation officer called out. We are approaching the New Sol system. Red alert, Jinho ordered. All hands to battle stations. The lights on the bridge turned red. Alarms sounded throughout the ship. The crew moved quickly to their positions. Dropping out of hyperspace in 3, 2, 1. The stars stopped moving. In front of them, Jinho could see the huge Vorthak fleet surrounding New Sol. The enemy ships were dark and threatening. They looked like metal sharks ready to attack. Sir, the communications officer said, the Vorthak fleet has detected us. They are. Sir, they have stopped moving. Jinho looked at the screen. It was true. The entire Vorthak fleet had stopped. They were not moving or shooting. They were just floating in space like they were frozen. Why are they not attacking? Da-hai asked. Sujin checked her computer. They have identified our ship. Look at this. On the screen, Jinho could see Vorthak communications. They were calling the Retribution a Class Omega threat. They were sending messages about the Death Ship and the ship that never loses. They are afraid, Wusung said with a big smile. Good, Jinho said. Fear makes enemies make mistakes. Open communications to all ships. Channel open, sir. Jinho spoke in a loud, clear voice. This is Captain Jinho Nam of UES Retribution. You came here to conquer peaceful people. That was your first mistake. Your second mistake was not leaving when you had the chance. Now you will learn why the galaxy fears our ships. War Admiral Krixtal stood on the command deck of his flagship and looked at the planet below. New Sol was a small world with blue oceans and green lands. It would make a good addition to the Vorthak Empire. The humans who lived there would become useful slaves. Send the surrender demand, Krixtal ordered. His communications officer sent the message to the planet. It was always the same message. Surrender now and become slaves, or be destroyed and then become slaves anyway. Most species chose to surrender. It saved time and ships. The humans are responding, sir, the communications officer said. Put it on the main screen. A human female appeared on the screen. She had black hair and dark eyes. She looked calm and unafraid. This surprised Krixtal. Most alien leaders looked scared when they saw his fleet. I am Sora Kim speaking for the people of New Sol, the human said. We have received your surrender demand. Good, Krixtal said. You have 1 hour to prepare your people for transport to work camps. The human female smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that made Krixtal feel uncomfortable. We have a different answer for you, Sora said. Go away. Leave our system now or we will make you leave. Krixtal could not believe what he had heard. This tiny human colony was threatening his mighty fleet. It was impossible. It was also very amusing. You have 1 old battleship and a few fighters, Krixtal said. I have 200 warships. You cannot win. Maybe not, Sora said. But we are humans. We do not surrender. We do not become slaves. We fight. The transmission ended. Krixtal laughed. These humans were either very brave or very stupid. Probably stupid, sir, his tactical officer called out. I am detecting weapons fire from the asteroid belt. What kind of weapons? Railguns, sir. Very large ones. They are shooting metal projectiles at high speed. Krixtal looked at the tactical display. Several of his ships showed damage from the railgun attacks. The humans had hidden weapons in the asteroids. It was clever, but not enough to change the battle. Sir, another officer called out. Human fighters are attacking our outer ships. On the screen, Krixtal could see 12 small human fighters attacking his fleet. They moved very fast and shot quickly, then flew away before his ships could shoot back. It was annoying but not dangerous. Destroy the fighters, Krixtal ordered. We are trying, sir, but they are very fast and hard to hit. Krixtal was getting impatient. The humans were delaying his victory with these small attacks. It was time to end this game. All ships move toward the planet. Ignore the small attacks. We will destroy their cities and make them surrender. The Vorthak fleet began moving forward. The railguns kept shooting from the asteroids. The human fighters kept making hit-and-run attacks, but nothing could stop 200 warships. Then something happened that made Krixtal's blood turn cold. Sir, the sensor officer said in a frightened voice. Another ship just dropped out of hyperspace behind us. What kind of ship? The sensor officer checked his instruments twice before answering. Sir, it is a human battleship. The identification says it is UES Retribution. Every officer on the bridge became very quiet. Krixtal felt his heart's beating faster. He knew that name. Every Vorthak military officer knew that name. Are you certain? Krixtal asked. Yes, sir. It is definitely the Retribution. Krixtal looked at the tactical display. There it was. A single human battleship had appeared behind his fleet. It looked small compared to his flagship, but Krixtal knew it was the most dangerous ship in the galaxy. Sir, the communications officer said, all ships have stopped moving. They are waiting for orders. Krixtal understood why his ships had stopped. The Retribution was a legend among the Vorthak. It was the ship that had never lost a battle. It was the ship that had rescued thousands of prisoners from Vorthak bases. It was the ship that haunted the nightmares of Vorthak children. Sir, his tactical officer said, the Retribution is sending a message on all frequencies. Play it. A human male appeared on the screen. He was older than the female from the colony. His eyes were hard and cold. This was clearly a warrior. This is Captain Jinho Nam of UES Retribution, the human said. You came here to conquer peaceful people. That was your first mistake. Your second mistake was not leaving when you had the chance. Now you will learn why the galaxy fears our ships." The message ended. Krixtal felt fear growing in his chest. He had read the intelligence reports about this ship and its captain. Captain Nam had destroyed Vorthak fleets before. He had done impossible things in battle. "Sir," his second-in-command said quietly, "perhaps we should retreat. We can return with more ships." Krixtal wanted to retreat. Every instinct told him to run away, but he could not show fear in front of his officers. He was a war admiral of the Vorthak Empire. He had conquered dozens of worlds. "We have 200 ships," Krixtal said. "They have one. We will destroy them." But even as he said it, Krixtal did not believe it. The stories about the Retribution said that numbers did not matter. The ship's crew fought like demons. They never gave up. They turned defeats into victories through pure determination. "Sir," the sensor officer said, "the Retribution is moving. It is heading straight toward us." Krixtal looked at the display. The human ship was charging directly at his fleet. It was not trying to be sneaky or clever. It was coming straight at them like an angry beast. "All ships prepare to fire," Krixtal ordered. "Sir," his tactical officer said, "the human ship is broadcasting something. It sounds like music." "Music?" "Yes, sir. It is very loud and aggressive music." Krixtal had heard about this too. Human warriors sometimes played music during battle. It was supposed to make them braver and stronger. To Krixtal it sounded terrifying. On New Sol, Taman watched the battle from the bridge of UES Indomitable. He could see the Vorthak fleet surrounding the planet. He could see the Retribution charging toward them like a metal comet. "Sir," Sora said, "Captain Nam is requesting to speak with you." "Put him through." Captain Nam appeared on the screen. "Commander Park, I am Captain Nam. I am here to help your people." "Thank you, Captain. What do you need from us?" "Keep doing what you are doing. Your railguns and fighters are slowing them down. That gives me time to get close. What is your plan, sir?" Captain Nam smiled. It was a dangerous smile. "I am going to fly straight through their fleet and break their formation. When they panic, you attack from the planet side. We will crush them between us." Taman could not believe what he was hearing. "Sir, you are going to attack 200 ships by yourself?" "Not by myself. I have the best crew in the human fleet, and I have something the Vorthak do not have." "What is that, sir?" "I have a reason to fight. They are here to hurt innocent people. I am here to stop them. That makes me stronger than any weapon they have." The transmission ended. Taman watched as the Retribution got closer to the Vorthak fleet. The enemy ships were firing everything they had at the human battleship. Laser beams and missiles filled the space around the Retribution, but somehow the ship kept flying toward them. "How is that ship surviving all those attacks?" Mei-Young asked. Yunwu looked at his sensors. "Their shields are very strong, and they are moving in ways that make them hard to hit. Look at this." On the screen, Taman could see the Retribution spinning and turning as it flew. It looked like a deadly dance. The ship avoided most of the enemy fire and its shields absorbed the rest. "Sir," Sora said, "the Vorthak fleet is breaking formation. Some ships are trying to run away." It was true. The sight of the Retribution charging toward them had broken the nerve of some Vorthak captains. They were turning their ships around and trying to escape. But Krixtal was not running. His flagship and about 50 other ships stayed in formation ready to fight. "Send a message to all our people," Taman ordered. "Tell them the real battle is about to begin." The Retribution was almost at the Vorthak fleet now. In a few minutes, the most famous ship in the human fleet would crash into the enemy formation like a hammer hitting glass. Taman said a silent prayer for Captain Nam and his crew. They were about to do something that most people would call impossible, but Taman had heard the stories about the Retribution. Maybe impossible things were just normal for them. The battle for New Sol was about to reach its most dangerous moment. 6 months after the Battle of New Sol, Captain Jin Ho Nam stood on the bridge of his new ship. The original UES Retribution had been badly damaged in the fight against the Vorthak fleet. The new ship was called UES Retribution 2, and it was even more powerful than the first one. "Captain," his communications officer said, "we are receiving another request for protection. This time from the Zalani Republic." Jin-Ho looked at the message. The Zalani were a peaceful alien race that lived on 12 different planets. They had heard about what happened at New Sol. Now they wanted human ships to protect them from pirates and raiders. "How many requests is that this week?" Jin-Ho asked. 15, sir. All from different alien governments." Admiral Su-jin walked up to Jin-ho. She was reading reports on her datapad. The story of New Seoul has reached every corner of the galaxy. Everyone knows what we did there. What are they saying about us? Many things. Some good, some not so good. But everyone agrees on one thing. They say humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy when someone threatens innocent people. Jin-ho smiled. That is not a bad reputation to have. On New Seoul, life had returned to normal. But normal was very different now. The colony had become one of the most heavily defended worlds in human space. Commander Taemin Park was now General Park in charge of defending the entire sector. Sir, Sora Kim said, entering his office, the new defense platforms are online. We now have 50 railguns hidden in the asteroid belt. Good. What about the fighter squadrons? Colonel Mi-young Choi has trained 300 new pilots. We have enough fighters to defend against a fleet twice the size of the one that attacked us. Taemin nodded. New Seoul would never be caught defenseless again. But more importantly, the colony had become a symbol. It represented what humans could do when they worked together to protect their homes. Sir, Sora continued, we are getting reports from our intelligence network. The Vorthak Empire is in chaos. What kind of chaos? After their defeat here, many Vorthak colonies rebelled against their government. The slaves that they captured from other worlds are fighting for their freedom. Several Vorthak generals have been overthrown by their own soldiers. Taemin felt satisfaction. The Vorthak had ruled through fear for centuries. Now they were learning what it felt like to be afraid. There is more news, sir. The galactic news networks are calling our battle the Miracle of New Seoul. They say it changed everything. It was true. The Battle of New Seoul had shocked the entire galaxy. For the first time in history, a major military power had been defeated by a single ship and a small colony. The story had spread to every world and every species, but the story had grown in the telling. Some aliens said that the Retribution had destroyed 1,000 enemy ships. Others said that human marines could fight without weapons or armor. A few claimed that human ships could become invisible or travel faster than light. None of these stories were true, but they served a purpose. They made enemies think twice before attacking human colonies. They also made peaceful aliens want to become friends with humans. Engineering Chief Hyunwoo Lee was now the most famous engineer in human space. Every colony wanted him to design their defenses. He had written a book about building weapons from mining equipment. Military academies throughout human territory were teaching his techniques. The key, Hyunwoo explained to a group of young engineers, is to think differently. Do not just use military weapons. Use whatever you have. A mining laser can become a ship weapon. A cargo hauler can become a missile. Everything can be a weapon if you are creative enough. Colonel Mi-young Choi was training fighter pilots on 12 different worlds. Her students came from many human colonies and even some alien worlds. Everyone wanted to learn how to fight like the defenders of New Seoul. Remember, Mi-young told her students, big ships are powerful, but they are also slow. Small fighters can move quickly and strike where the enemy does not expect. Use your speed and intelligence to win, not just your weapons. On Earth, the government was building new ships as fast as possible. The victory at New Seoul had shown that human military technology was excellent, but they needed more ships to protect all their colonies. President Chen addressed the human parliament. The galaxy now knows that we will fight to protect our people, but they also know that we will fight to protect anyone who asks for our help. This makes us both powerful and dangerous. We must be ready for whatever comes next. In the Vorthak capital city, the surviving leaders met in secret. War Admiral Krixtal had been imprisoned for his failure at New Seoul. The new Vorthak leaders were trying to decide what to do about the humans. We cannot fight them directly, one general said. Their ships are too dangerous. We could try to make peace, another suggested. Peace with humans? They will never trust us after what we have done to other species. Then we avoid their space. We do not attack human colonies or their allies. It was a strange conversation. For the first time in their history, the Vorthak were afraid of another species. The humans had done something that no other race had ever accomplished. They had made the Vorthak doubt their own power. Back on the Retribution 2, Jin-ho received a priority message from Earth Command. Admiral Su-jin read it first, then showed it to him. What does it say? Jin-ho asked. Earth wants to create a new fleet. They want you to be the admiral in charge of protecting alien colonies that ask for our help. Jin-ho thought about this. It would mean more responsibility and more danger, but it would also mean helping innocent people across the galaxy. What do you think, Su-jin? I think it is what we were meant to do. We are not just protecting human colonies anymore. We are protecting anyone who believes in freedom and peace. Then we accept. The new fleet was called the Protection Force. It had 50 human ships and crews from many different worlds. Its mission was simple: protect innocent people from anyone who tried to hurt them. The first mission came within a week. A peaceful alien race called the Methani sent a desperate message. Pirates were attacking their trade ships and stealing their food supplies. The Methani children were starting to starve. How long to reach the Methani system? Jinho asked. 3 days at maximum speed, sir. Then we leave immediately. When the Protection Force arrived at the Methani worlds, they found the pirates attacking a food convoy. The pirates had 8 ships. They thought they could easily defeat any defenders. They were wrong. The human ships moved like a pack of wolves. They surrounded the pirates and destroyed 6 ships in the first 10 minutes. The remaining 2 ships tried to surrender. This is Admiral Jinho Nam of the Human Protection Force, Jinho broadcast to the pirates. You have been attacking innocent people and stealing their food. That ends now. We surrender, the pirate leader replied. Please do not destroy us. You will return all the food you have stolen. Then you will leave this system and never come back. If we find you attacking peaceful people again, we will hunt you down. The pirates agreed quickly. They returned the stolen food and fled the system as fast as their ships could travel. The Methani were so grateful that they cried. They had never seen anyone stand up to the pirates before. They offered to share their technology and resources with the humans. Thank you, the Methani leader said to Jinho. But why did you help us? We are not humans. We cannot give you anything valuable. You do not need to give us anything, Jinho replied. Protecting innocent people is valuable enough. Word of the Protection Force spread quickly through the galaxy. More and more alien races asked for human help. Pirates and raiders started avoiding systems where humans might be patrolling. Some alien governments tried to hire human ships as mercenaries, but the humans always refused payment. They only accepted requests to help innocent people who could not defend themselves. This confused many alien races. Most species in the galaxy only helped others when they could get something in return. The idea of helping strangers for free was almost impossible for them to understand. But it made perfect sense to humans. They remembered their own history. They remembered times when their people had been weak and needed help. They remembered how good it felt when someone strong stood up for someone weak. 1 year after the Battle of New Sol, Jinho received a special message. It came from the Galactic Council, a group of the most powerful alien governments. Admiral Nam, the council leader, said, "We would like to offer humanity a permanent seat on the Galactic Council. Your species has proven that you use your power to protect others, not to conquer them. We need more species like yours in our government." Jinho smiled. A year ago, most aliens had never heard of humans. Now they wanted humans to help govern the galaxy. "I will take your offer to my government," Jinho said, "but I can tell you what they will say. Humans will be happy to join the Galactic Council, as long as we can continue to protect innocent people. That is exactly what we want you to do." The galaxy had changed. The Battle of New Sol had started something that no one expected. Humans had become the protectors of the weak and the defenders of the innocent. Other species were starting to copy human behavior. Some aliens were even joining human crews to learn how to fight for others instead of just for themselves. Jinho stood on the bridge of Retribution 2 and looked at the stars. The moment UES Retribution crashed into the Vorthak formation, the battle became chaos. Captain Jinho Nam felt his ship shake as enemy fire hit their shields. But he did not slow down. He pushed his ship harder and faster toward the center of the enemy fleet. "Dahai, start shooting," Jinho shouted over the noise of battle. "Already on it, Captain," Dahai replied. Her fingers moved quickly over the weapon controls. The Retribution's main guns fired continuously. Each shot hit a Vorthak ship and caused massive damage. "Sujin, how are our shields?" Jinho asked. "Down to 60% and falling fast," Admiral Sujin replied. "But we are causing panic in their formation." It was true. The Vorthak ships were so surprised by the human attack that they were shooting at each other by mistake. Some ships were trying to run away. Others were trying to surround the Retribution. The result was complete confusion. "Wusung, are you ready for boarding actions?" Jinho asked. "My Marines are ready, Captain. Just get us close to their command ship." Jinho looked at the tactical display. War Admiral Krixtel's flagship was the largest ship in the fleet. It was also the most dangerous. But if they could capture it, the rest of the fleet might surrender. Dahi, target that big ship. Clear us a path. With pleasure, Captain. The Retribution's weapons focused on the enemy ships between them and the flagship. One by one, the Vorthak ships exploded or drifted away with damaged engines. On his flagship, Krixtal watched in horror as the human ship tore through his fleet. The Retribution was moving in ways that seemed impossible. It spun and twisted to avoid enemy fire while shooting at multiple targets. How are they doing this? Krixtal demanded. Sir, their pilot seems to know where we are going to shoot before we shoot, his tactical officer replied. It was true. The Retribution moved like it could read the minds of the Vorthak gunners. Actually, Dahi was just very good at predicting enemy behavior. She had studied Vorthak tactics for years. She knew how they thought and how they fought. Sir, a Vorthak officer said, the human ship is heading straight for us. All weapons, focus fire on that ship, Krixtel ordered. Every gun on the flagship fired at the Retribution. The space around the human ship filled with energy beams and explosions. For a moment, Krixtel thought they had destroyed it. Then the smoke cleared. The Retribution was still coming. Its shields were flickering and sparking, but it was still alive. Impossible, Krixtal whispered. On New Seoul, Taemin was coordinating the colonial defense. The railguns that Hyunwoo had built were doing better than expected. They had destroyed 12 Vorthak ships and damaged many more. Sir, Mi-young reported from her fighter. The enemy ships are confused and scattered. This is our chance to attack. All fighters, attack now, Taemin ordered. Hit them while they are focused on the Retribution. Mi-young led her squadron in a daring attack on the Vorthak ships closest to the planet. The human fighters were much smaller than the enemy ships, but they were also much faster. They flew between the large ships like angry insects, stinging them with laser fire. Sora, any word from the outer colonies? Taemin asked. Yes, sir. 3 more human ships are coming to help us, but they will not arrive for another 4 hours. The battle would be over by then, one way or another. Sir, Hyunwoo called out, I have an idea. The mining stations around the planet have powerful tractor beams. We could use them to grab the enemy ships and hold them still. Do it, Taemin said. Hyunwoo started sending commands to the automated mining stations. Soon, invisible tractor beams reached out from the planet and grabbed several Vorthak ships. The enemy vessels found themselves pulled toward the planet, unable to break free. Now hit them with everything we have, Taemin ordered. The railguns fired at the trapped ships. The colonial defense platforms shot their missiles. Even the old UES Indomitable joined the attack. The trapped Vorthak ships were destroyed quickly. Back in space, the Retribution had reached the enemy flagship. Woo-sung and his Marines were ready to board the enemy ship. Jin-ho, Su-jin said, our shields are almost gone. We cannot take much more damage. We do not need to, Jin-ho replied. Woo-sung, go. The Retribution moved very close to the Vorthak flagship. Boarding pods shot out from the human ship and attached to the enemy hull. Inside each pod were 5 human Marines with advanced weapons and armor. Woo-sung led the first boarding team. They cut through the enemy hull and entered the Vorthak ship. The aliens inside were surprised and frightened. They had never seen human Marines up close before. Move toward the bridge, Woo-sung shouted to his team. Capture their command center. The Marines fought their way through the enemy ship. The Vorthak soldiers tried to stop them, but the humans were faster and more determined. Nothing could slow them down. Meanwhile, other Marine teams were capturing important parts of the ship. One team took the engine room. Another team captured the weapons control center. Soon the Vorthak flagship was under human control. Krixtal found himself surrounded by human Marines on his own bridge. Woo-sung pointed his weapon at the Vorthak commander. Surrender now, Woo-sung said, and we will not hurt your crew. Krixtal looked around his bridge. His officers were frightened and defeated. His mighty fleet was being destroyed by one human ship and a small colony. How is this possible? You cannot win, Krixtal said. Even if you defeat us, more Vorthak fleets will come. Maybe, Woo-sung said. But they will remember what happened here. They will remember that humans do not give up. They will think twice before attacking our people again. Krixtal realized that the human was right. This battle would become a legend among the Vorthak. The story of how one human ship defeated an entire fleet would spread throughout their empire. It would make other Vorthak commanders afraid to attack human colonies. I surrender, Krixtal said quietly. Wusung smiled. Smart choice. On the Retribution's bridge, Jin-Ho received the good news. Captain, the enemy flagship has surrendered. Master Chief Wusung has control of their command center. Excellent. Signal the rest of their fleet to surrender. Sir, the communications officer said, most of the enemy ships are already trying to surrender. They saw what happened to their flagship. Jin-Ho looked at the tactical display. Of the 200 Vorthak ships that had attacked New Seoul, only about 60 were still able to fight. The rest were destroyed, damaged, or captured. The remaining ships were sending surrender signals. Accept their surrender, Jin-Ho ordered. But keep our weapons ready. I do not trust them completely. Sir, Sujin said, we are receiving a message from Commander Park on New Seoul. Tae-min appeared on the screen. He looked tired but happy. Captain Nam, thank you. You saved our colony. We all saved it, Commander. Your people fought very bravely. What do we do with the prisoners, sir? Jin-Ho thought for a moment. We will take the Vorthak leaders back to human space for questioning. The regular soldiers can go home with a message for their government. What kind of message? Tell them that humans protect innocent people. Tell them that if they attack peaceful colonies again, we will come for them. All of us, the battle was over. New Seoul was safe. The Vorthak fleet was defeated or captured, but Jin-Ho knew this was just the beginning. Word of this battle would spread across the galaxy. Other alien races would hear about how humans fought against impossible odds to protect their people. Some aliens would want to be friends with humans. Others would be afraid of human military power. Sujin, Jin-Ho said, send a report to Earth Command. Tell them we need more ships out here. After today, everyone in the galaxy will be watching us. Do you think more enemies will come? Sujin asked. Maybe. But I also think we will make new friends. The galaxy is full of peaceful species who need protection from bullies like the Vorthak. Today we showed them that humans will fight for anyone who cannot fight for themselves. On New Seoul, the people were celebrating in the streets. Children who had been hiding in shelters came out to see the captured enemy ships. Miners and farmers hugged the soldiers who had defended their world. Hyunwoo was already planning improvements to the planetary defenses. Mi-young was training new fighter pilots. Sora was establishing communication links with other human colonies. Tae-min stood on the bridge of UES Indomitable and watched the celebrations. His people were safe. The enemy was defeated, but most importantly, they had proven something to the galaxy. Humans would never surrender. Humans would never abandon their friends. Humans would fight against any odds to protect innocent people. That message would echo across the stars for generations to come.